Welcome to 101, the mini podcast project. I'm your host, Anthony Cruz, and today is Monday, February 20th, 2017, President's Day. I hope everybody's doing well. If you had the day off, I'm pretty sure most of you did. I hope you enjoyed it. For the rest of us, some of us had to work. Me having a 9 to 5, I would have had to work today, but I took a vacation day, and I was just chilling. So this was a pretty good holiday, man. I needed to catch up and, catch up on some movies, catch up on some projects that I'm doing, and just all together, just trying to get a good beat on things for the coming week. But, what an amazing weekend to have a long weekend. We had 2-3 days of beautiful weather. It was incredible. I mean, out here in New York, the temperatures rose to 60. High 50s, 60 degrees, and for it being February, that's a rarity. So we enjoyed the hell out of that. I caught up on some movies. I was checking out some movies that I missed. Some movies that kind of escaped me that I didn't get a chance to see. I caught Snowden, and I caught up with a couple of movies. Snowden. I caught some movies in the theater that I didn't get the chance to see. Caught Great Wall, caught a couple of things. And it's just a lot of ups and downs. That John Wick this weekend, oh my. How is that not number one? I don't know, man. Lego Batman's kicking ass. Totally kicking ass this weekend. 2 weekends in a row, number one. But John Wick, man, y'all sleeping on John Wick. That dude he's like Jesus with a gun. That guy, when he walks into a room, we're talking about the character, not Keanu. You know that there's going to be a wake of bodies right behind him. The guy is just and the plot devices are so simple. It's just amazing that he's able to do these things and just get away with it. In the world that he lives in, cops don't give a shit. Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal though. I mean, you check your brain at the door, and then you go in and just enjoy a really kick-ass action flick. That was pretty good. Great Wall, the Matt Damon movie. Yeah, it's not gonna win any awards for plot writing or anything like that, but there is some things to take away from it, and mainly because of the director. If the director, it's a Japanese guy. No, not Japanese, Chinese director. This guy, I'm gonna try to get the fucking name. I can never remember names, so bear with me. But this guy, he's done a lot of Hong Kong only films, big budget films. So the production value on this movie was really huge because it was the first collaboration between China and Hollywood, and it was a really big thing. And while it's tanking over there, over in China, it's actually number 3 this weekend. Even though it just came out, it should have been number 1. But when you watch that movie, you just notice once they get to the wall and they meet the Chinese armies, it's gorgeous. It really stands out visually. So many colors. That's what I liked about this movie. They really played on colors. Each little faction or each little division of the whole army are represented by unique colors according to what they do. Blue for these girls that kind of bungee jump, and red for the archers, and you have gold and purple and all kind. And it's really, really awesome, really cool to look at. And then you have the monsters. These not much to them. They're just a horde of monsters that come attack the wall, and that's pretty much what you get for the whole movie. They try to throw in some differences, but nothing too crazy. So what you see in the commercials is pretty much what you get, and it stays that consistent. That movie could have easily been too long, but sitting down and watching it actually went by in a pretty decent clip. But I'm not going to talk about movies too much because that's what the fucking corner is for about. But I was kind of just half-assing it this weekend, doing that, catching up on stuff around the house, and then I just wanted to catch up on what's happening in and around the world. I mean, what the hell's been going on? I'm checking out the latest stuff. Let's see, we got SpaceX launches a rocket from NASA pad in Florida. All right, I mean, they've been doing that shit for like a while now. But what's really cool about this, if anybody doesn't know about SpaceX, I want to get into that for a little bit. SpaceX is a privatized spacefaring company under the umbrella of Tesla, I would think, or because it's all run by Elon Musk. SpaceX is his baby, his thing, that he wants to get space travel privatized and be the first to colonize Mars. He has this program called the Mars One program, and the whole idea is to get the first 4 people. That's the idea, at least right now, to get the first 4 people or first several people on Mars between 2025 and 2026, I believe it is. I don't know if the timetable changed on that, but what's really cool about this is that here it is, something that we relied on NASA to do for decades is now being handled in the hands of private industry, and SpaceX is not the only companies. There's a few others that are also testing private rockets going into space. But what makes SpaceX so different is that they have these reusable rockets. The shit takes off from a launch pad and then it breaks off in space, delivers its cargo to the ISS, and then the booster rocket, the shit that gets it up there, comes back down, and if all works well, just kind of floats and lands down on the pad using really sophisticated booster systems. So that's really freaking cool. I mean, and then with that, by privatizing these missions to the ISS, it keeps the ISS going, right? And then it helps NASA funnel money into other experiments and other things to do. And I've been kind of just keeping up with this for quite some time. And the Mars One program is meant to use this technology of the reusable rockets to not only ferry people to Mars, but ferry their equipment, everything that they're going to need to start building and colonizing Mars. There's I don't know if it's Mars1.com or something like that. You can go there and check it out. I think the thing is pretty freaking cool. Although I don't think I could volunteer, because so the thing was about this whole program is that they wasn't getting like astronauts from like NASA to come go to Mars. They were taking anybody who had a wish to go to Mars can sign up, and what happens is they've started already. They already narrowed it down to the last 100 people. I think that's what it is, if I'm not mistaken. And they're gonna train them for over like 10 years up until the time of launch, because it takes about, I think it was like 8 months to get to Mars on the closest trajectory between Earth and Mars. So that means like throughout both rotations of the planet, both planets have to be at the most closest distance to have the most opportune and quickest route to get to the next planet. And so they'll train these people, and whatever they need to do, agriculture, engineering, mechanical engineering, information technology, whatever it is that they need to survive on their own. Because what happens is they're going to send equipment, they're going to send the things they need to do, and then they're on their own. And, every 4 years after that, additional people will come, additional supplies will come. But it's not something that happens frequently. And it's not like they're delivering food. They may send some MREs, which are these military rations. They're dry food, but for the most part they're meant to grow their own food and fend for themselves. And they got to do this. And I could be a Joe Schmo off the street and I could sign up. And if I fit the right criteria, if I pass all the tests, I potentially be going to Mars. And in this 10-year period, they're gonna train me and send me up. So, but there's a catch. Your ass ain't coming back. And that's the interesting part about it. There's a lot of people who wouldn't mind just leaving and not coming back. Nah, man, I gotta come back. There's shows to watch. So, look, it's all good when you go there and you have all the amenities you enjoy, but you're gonna be roughing it there. Especially the first 4 or 5 people that go there, they're gonna be roughing it pretty tight for a while. So, as we're moving along, because I think when it was first announced, when was it announced? I think it was 2000. When it really gained traction, I think it was 2013, maybe 14, that the whole Mars One program was starting to pick up traction. So at that point, they were saying that whoever goes up there, they're going to be about 25 people all in all by 2032. Maybe all the people will be up there. I don't know how it works, but it's a one-way ticket, and that was then. Now they're talking about, well, we could probably build stuff that can send maybe 30 people at a time or 100 people at a time. The ideas and the technology is there. It has to just be, tested, made safe, and then, sent forward. So, with that in mind, it's a pretty freaking awesome thing. I can't wait to see, because if all works well, we'll be alive when a man or a female, or a man who was a female or a female who was a man finally sets foot on another planet. I mean, I'm glossing over the main factor is that as a species we'll be a multi-planet species, because we have set foot on another, and we'll be alive when that happens. This will be almost as significant as when man set foot on the moon, whether you believe that we did or not. But that was a monumental point in history, and we can only go from there. You're talking about terraforming a planet. That could take hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of years to terraform a planet. But it can be done, and we'll be long gone by the time that happens. But the fact is that we're so overpopulated on this planet, and we're so vulnerable because one cataclysmic event will wipe out our entire species. And maybe we'll be survived by 1 or 2, whoever happens to be on the space station, by the time that cataclysmic event happens. So there's only 2 people left, 1, and it's only a matter of time before they go. So you have to start ensuring the future of our species. It's not about the individual no more. We have to come to accept that we're gonna go at some point. We're not gonna live forever, but the species can go on forever if we do the things that we're supposed to do, and not just sending us to other planets, but we just got to fix the things that are happening here. There's so many freaking technologies out there. I used to work for the Associated Press, and there was a graphic. I worked in the graphics department, and there was a graphic that we did that demonstrated how algae put out more ethanol than corn. Now, if some of you don't know what ethanol is is a fuel source like gasoline. It's like clean energy fuel, and it showed that the algae, the shit that green shit that grows in your fish tank and it's all over the ocean, that shit puts out more ethanol than corn. And I'm trying to figure out is why the fuck are we wasting our food for? If corn was good enough until now and we have a more viable source, why the fuck are we not using that? We're not eating algae. I mean, some of us do. But fuck, I mean, like, that's something that you can grow and your economy is not based... Your economy is not built on the backbone of algae. We're built on the backbone of corn. Corn is one of our highest, agricultures. It's grown and used in almost everything. So if you have a device that puts out almost 300% more than what corn does, why the fuck we not doing that? That's something that you can grow in captivity. You won't have to farm it from the ocean. That's something you can do almost like you can with a farm with corn. You can do that with algae. So why the fuck do we have that? I wonder. So you have an alternative fuel source, right? Option right there. Now we're getting all kinds of alternative energy sources. I mean, you have solar panels that are way cheaper now than they were when they came out, a decade ago, 2 decades ago, because they were out for a long time. We just didn't have access. It wasn't feasible for the average consumer to purchase solar panels. Now you can go to fucking Home Depot and buy a solar panel. It's like, yo, we got like a surplus of this. Just take them. We're giving them away free. So you got solar panels. People are putting them on their homes. Corporate buildings are putting them on their roofs as a backup source if the grid goes down. Especially like hospitals benefit greatly from solar panels because they need to keep that equipment going should there ever be a blackout. You got people on life support. You got people who need their instruments to work and help those in need. So having that actually makes sense. But there was some really cool ones. They got this one fucking thing now that sucks up air and converts it into water. It just pulls water out of thin air. It uses these fans, right? It looks like a fucking Dyson, right? And then it sucks in the air and pulls out the moisture, and then you can produce up to 20 gallons of water. It's fucking insane. Insane. There are some savvy people now who live off the grid, and they killing it, man. They don't need for nothing. They got stuff they're growing in the back. They have animals that they grow and feed, and then use for food, and they give birth, and they're farming their own animals, and they're sustaining for themselves. They recycle their water, they purify their water and reuse it again. Some people are using the grease that they used to cook with and turn it into gas. Look, there was this one dude who took his car and he changed it so the shit runs off of water. And then you just have to change it like every couple of months because the water would turn black. But this dude, I mean, you probably seen it was on Facebook. They, these people. One of the things you could check out is this one guy. His name is David Wolf. He likes to show all these technology things like videos and stuff like that comes out. It's fucking wicked awesome. You see stuff that you can't believe. Like Amazon got that shit where you can go into a supermarket and just take whatever the fuck you want. That'd be the day. Like you just walk into a turnstile, just like, yep, I want that shit, and I want this shit, and I'll take that shit, and then you walk out. There's no need to go to a teller. You probably need like one person, two people, a couple of people to stock the shelves, obviously. And then customer service, right? When your fucking card doesn't work. But yeah, it's like a train turnstile. If you ever seen a train turnstile, you walk in this thing, it reads your card, and then like now you're activated in the store, and then you go to whatever you want, like a thing of Pillsbury dough. You just grab that shit off the thing and walk right out. And it takes care of you. Don't pull out your cash or anything like that. It's freaking cool. I tell you, the technology is crazy. That we're at a time where, remember when people would say, "Oh, the technology hasn't caught up to Star Trek," but we're getting there because we could see that we have these things. Our smartphones are smarter than their tricorders. We have sliding doors. We've had that shit for the past 400 years. Automatic sliding doors. We have elevators, turbo lifts. You know, I mean, you name it. I mean, we don't have, but we have flying cars. Granted, they're not standard, but we have flying cars. We have all this cool shit. We have amazing technology. And how is it that we're still in trouble? You know, I'm not an environmentalist, but fuck. We're fucking up. We're fucking up somehow. Because these things are not standard. You know what I'm saying? These things are not a mainstay. Like, how is it that not every home has, you know, clean energy? You know what I'm saying? Like, they offer it now with your package, and they charge you an arm and leg. And then they say, oh, if you go for clean energy, we'll give you a check at the end of the year. Yeah, I still haven't got that check yet. But I know we're a long way from you know, making those head strides in actual change. But I mean, it's all there. You know, maybe it will get to a point where, you know, you could choose whether or not you want to stay here or live on Mars. That'd be freaking cool. I'm like, ah, fuck this place. I'm going to Mars. Mars got that new Denny's. It'll be a matter of time when you start seeing strip malls on Mars. Go to the fucking Rainforest Cafe on Mars. Oh, man. Because you know fucking corporate America is going to get their greasy hands all over the fucking Mars. Anywhere to put up a billboard, drop some advertisement. Anyway, and that's my rant about it. But yeah, I just wanted to touch up on some of the stuff that I was seeing, some of the things I was checking out, and that's it. That's it for the mini podcast project. I promised these things weren't going to be long, so I already went over my normal time, which is 20 minutes. So yeah, please tune in next time for 101. And I've been Anthony Cruz, and I thank you for joining me. I'll see you.